Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management. And today we're creating professional invoices and proposals inside WEX FSM. This webinar will cover recommended job form setting to make sure your account is set up to your liking. So the items that you want will show up on your invoices and proposals by default. We will go over creating proposals and copying, converting to an invoice, and then creating invoices from scratch. We'll also do a live Q&A at the end so you can get your questions answered live on stream. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into WEX FSM. Now, today we are focusing on creating professional invoices and proposals. Just to give you an example, WEX FSM will allow you to create proposals and invoices in your systems or in your system. We do call proposals and invoices job forms. So just some WEX FSM terminology. If you ever hear us say job forms, we are talking about proposals, invoices, and even proposal comparisons and purchase orders. Now, I'm on a job right now. I'm just on a job page, and each job will save your proposals and invoices. We can see under the proposals and financing section, I have a proposal here. You will see the proposal number. Just a pro tip for you here. When you create a job, it's going to create a job number. So we can see this is job 13437. And then any job form that you create will be or will use that job number. So we can see our proposal here is P dash the job number. And down here we have our invoice, which is I dash the job number. So no matter where you are looking, you will always be able to reference the job that relates to the job form at a glance. Clicking on the PDF icon here, we can see an example of what a proposal will look like. And this is what we're going to focus on today, getting your proposals and invoices to look as professional as this. So we're going to learn how to add a logo, make sure that you set the right settings to the things you want your customers to see by default, adding items from the price book, recommended items, adding financing, things like that. And then just an example of a invoice. The nice thing about invoices is, and down here, we're just going to click on the PDF icon. If you convert a proposal to an invoice, it is a one-to-one comparison. It will send over absolutely everything that was on the previous document. But when you convert to invoice, the biggest difference is you can now take payment. So setting up the proposals, exactly the same as setting up a new invoice, but proposals are meant for your estimates for you to showcase work to be done in the future versus your invoices, which will show the work that has been done and then has the option to take payment. Now, before we dive into actually creating and copying our job forms, let's make sure that our settings are set correctly. So we're just going to run through some settings together. A lot of this stuff will be personal preference, but you can go into your system and change these settings, and it will affect the way that your job forms look and feel. The first place we're going to go to is settings in the very top right, and then down to jobs. And I highly recommend you go to all of the pages here and set your preferences, which we will do together right now. So the first one, let's go to business details. This is the page that will hold all of your customer-facing business information. So maybe when you signed up, you used a different email or a different phone number, and you just want to come in here and make sure that this is the stuff you want to show up on proposals and invoices when you're sending it out to customers. Is your is your business name spelled correctly? Is your address correct? Do you have a website you want to display? The custom footer comes in handy if you, let's say that your state requires all job forms to have like your operations license number or something on it. The custom footer is a place where you can add some information, even a slogan that you want your customers to see, and it will show up on your proposals and invoices when those are sent. And of course, make sure you upload your logo. So making the invoices and proposals branded is really nice for your customer because then, they see who they're getting the service from. You will click Choose File, select the image, and upload it here. Once this is uploaded, you will see it populate in the top left, kind of branding your WEX FSM website. But more importantly, when you send out your proposals and invoices, like we looked at earlier, whatever you upload here as a logo will show up in the very top of those job forms. Make sure any changes that you make, you are clicking save. If you make a bunch of edits here and you click away or X out of the tab, it will not save. Next, we're going to go to settings, jobs, contract terms. The contract terms, this is the legal stuff. So if I send out a proposal, maybe I want certain terms for that estimate between me and my customer. Maybe when I convert that to an invoice, now the invoice, I want separate contract terms for that. This is completely up to you. For some of my customers, they just have one general terms and conditions that they apply to both invoices and proposals. And for some other customers, they want a different set of terms for each job that they do. That's up to you. You will simply click Create New Terms, enter the name of the terms. This is what will show up in the drop down on your proposals and invoices, and then the description. If you already have something written up, you can copy and paste that into here. Otherwise, you can just write it directly in here. And you have the option to make any of these terms uh, defaults, and you can set individual defaults for both proposals and invoices. Once you have your contract terms set up here, they will be available as a dropdown on your job forms when you're creating them. Now, let's go to settings, jobs, job preferences. The job preferences page will allow you to set defaults on what items you want visible on your job forms. So, a couple examples here. Do you want your invoices and proposals to show the location name, the model number, the product number, the unit prices, billing address name, maintenance plan savings, and line item amounts and quantities? These are all just personal preference. Maybe you do not want your customers to see the model numbers. That way they can't go on and spot check pricing, on the internet. So you can just hide that by toggling that off and hitting save. And now when you create a new job form, it will not include that model number. So just an example of what happens when you toggle those off. Once you have everything set here, you will click save. Next, we're going to go to settings, jobs, job types. The job types here are really connected to the job. And so when you are creating your jobs, job types will allow you to tag each job. And then that will essentially say what type of job that is. And then when you create your proposals and invoices, they will be saved within the job that you have. So this is just a personal preference as well. Maybe you want to track all of your no AC calls and separate those from your plumbing calls. You would just come in, click new job type, enter in that info. Uh, let's say you want to change the color. You can update the color from here. You can set the default duration, allocation, and when you're done, hit save. Next, let's go to settings, jobs, and payment terms. The payment terms are going to be your terms of payment between you and your customer. If you're doing a lot of, single family home residential, you may just want due upon receipt. I come in, I do a service, and now it's due. If you're working with a lot of commercial customers, maybe you want to set net 30 or net 60. You can update and edit these as needed by clicking the new payment terms, add the name of the terms and how many days they have to pay, and you can also set terms as default. I currently have due on receipt set as default right now. All right, so those are some preferences that are going to affect how your proposals and invoices look. So I do recommend that you go out and just update each of those admin pages per your liking. There are a couple other things that I do recommend setting up. One would be, let's go to more applications, price book, and warranties. If you know that you are offering warranties, whether that's on your equipment or that's some labor warranties, this is where you can set up your warranties from here. You will click New Warranty, add in the type. Is it a warranty for parts or warranty for labor? Enter the name, the length of the warranty, and description. Is this an extended warranty? Yes or no? And then hit Save. Anything you save on this page will then be available as a drop-down on proposals and invoices, so you can select them. But always good to set up your warranties first. That way they're available when you need them. And then in terms of other features, this will be based on how you plan on using the system. But while we're not doing a full deep dive into these, I do recommend that you set these up if you want to use them in your system. One would be your price book. So if you plan on pulling items from your price book to add to your job forms, you'll want to come in and make sure you are setting up your price book categories, your pricing defaults, your and your My Price Book page, which is where you actually add items. Once you have your price book set up, then if you create a proposal or an invoice, you hit Add New, which we will do together in just a minute. You'll be able to pull up everything you've set up in your price book. Same goes for setting up maintenance plans. Do you plan on using checklists? The parts catalog you would want to set up if you're going to do purchase orders. So these are just some things I do recommend setting up, because when we actually go in and, let's say, create a proposal, I may want to offer a maintenance plan or show my customer the checklist of the work we did or add items from my price book. And these do need to be set up first before they'll show up on the job forms. All right. So that is just some prep. That is making sure that the back office settings are set up and that the items that you're going to want to find will be available when you are creating your job forms. With that being said, let's talk about how you can actually create proposals and invoices in your system. So there's a couple different places where you can do this. One would be creating a job form from the customer page. A scenario here would be a customer calls you on the phone. Now you're talking to them about a potential new job you're going to do for them. First thing you would do is just type in their name and go to their customer page. Once you're on the customer page, we have a quick action if you want to just very quickly create a job with a proposal or an invoice. To do this, you will hover over the last quick action and it says create new job form. Click on that and now we're creating a job, and then we can create a job either with a new proposal or with a new invoice. And if you're planning on copying, let's say that you did a job yesterday and there's a proposal you know is exactly what you need for today, you can use the copy feature, which I will also show you in just a bit. But if you're going to do that, I would create the job as a new job only without a proposal or invoice. When you click Save Job, then you can go in and you can copy that proposal that you wanted. Otherwise, we can create a new proposal or invoice directly from here. So this is one way that you can do that. Another way is by creating it just directly within a job. And we are going to search for our job 13437. And we're just going to get into this job by clicking the job number. So another way you can create proposals and invoices in your system is by or is from the job page. So right now we're on this job. There is a section for proposals and financing, and there's also a section for invoices. Clicking on proposals and financing, if you already have a proposal made, you'll see that here. But if you want to create a new or copy, you have two options right here. Now, the copy feature comes in very handy if you already have some job forms in your system. An example here would be, let's say that I'm going to do an install for this person, and I just did the same install with the same options for someone the other day. I can click on copy. That will first bring up my favorites, and you will see here are my proposals. And if I uncheck favorites, that will allow me to see every single proposal in my whole system. I can search by proposal number, proposal name, customer name, or location, and then you will just select what you want to copy. Let's go back to my favorites. And let's say I already know this Daikin mini split is what I need. I will select it. And what the copy feature will do is it will now copy over all the previous information from the other document, add it to here so it is a one-to-one copy and includes everything I gave to the other customer, but it now replaces the new customer information at the top. And I can make edits to this because this is now unique for the new customer, and any changes I make will not affect the job form I copied it from. So an example though, if you know that this is something you want to copy in the future, I highly recommend marking it as a favorite so we can find it easier when we click copy, and you will want to name it. So, proposal name, maybe this is, furnace install and save. And actually this, I guess I would do mini split install. Now, when I go to copy, I'll see mini split install and that it is in my favorites. But this is an example of a copied job form. And now we're ready to go. Maybe I want to just send this to my customer by clicking send. And then let's send it to their email. And I'm clicking send proposal to send that. All right. So that is copying a job form. But if you want to create a new proposal, let's say, you would click new. That will create a brand new job form from scratch. And now let's use this as an example to just kind of go through each of the items on here. So like we mentioned earlier, you can mark this as a favorite from the top left. We've got some customer information in here that is going to populate by default. If you want to update the tax group, let's say that this customer, you're going to offer them a different tax rate or even 0% tax. Just change that. And then when you update the job form, it will take on the new tax. You can also change the status from here. If you click on pricing settings, this has a couple options here. This is going to allow you to change the pricing strategy. So if you want to charge them just the standard pricing from your price book, select standard price. If they are a maintenance plan customer, it will actually automatically select the maintenance plan pricing and give whatever discount you have set up on your pricing defaults page. And maybe they're a friend or family, and you want to just add a friends and family discount. So these are just some options for changing the pricing strategy. Maintenance plan pricing, when you have a customer who is a maintenance plan customer, the system will recognize that and automatically apply savings to their invoices and proposals. If they are not part of a maintenance plan, then it will still show the savings, but it will say available savings. So you can use that then as a selling tool to let them know, hey, here's the savings you would get if you sign up for our Comfort Club plan. Some people don't like this to show at all. So if you don't want the red savings bar to show up, you can just hide that. You can also quickly hide line item quantity and prices and unit prices from here as well. When you hit update, it will then update everything for this job form. We start off when we create a new job form, we start off in build mode, and this allows us to edit everything that you're seeing here. We have the proposal name. You can assign a technician. So let's say that I want to start giving credit for these invoices. I can track my technicians. I can update the issue date. And there's a custom field. So this custom field will allow you to put any information you want. Maybe there's like a specific work order number that you need to have on every single job. That custom field is up to you. Whatever you want to put there, you can put there, and it will show up along with this info here. You can update the billing address and service locations from here. And featured image, this is going to allow an image to show up if you add this proposal to a proposal comparison. So you may have multiple items that are here, but if I add this as a proposal and compare it to other ones, if you have a featured image, that is the image that will display in the comparison. All right, so now we're ready to build out our proposal and put the items that we're going to eventually charge the customer. To do this, you will click Add Item. That will pull up the price books that are in your system. For those of you who have the Profit Rhino subscription, you'll see a Profit Rhino flat rate price book tab. If you are syncing to QuickBooks and you want to use your QuickBooks item list as your main pricing price book, you have a QuickBooks item list tab. These tabs are separate, so just realize that if I'm searching for, let's say, a coil, it'll use that key term to search and it'll pull up anything that's in that tab. If I want to search my flat rate price book, I would need to click over to that. But that's one way you can search is by just typing in the item name that you want. You can also search through your price book folders. So if I click folders here, now I'm just navigating through the pricing folder or the price book folders that I would have created prior to this. For today's example, let's say we are going to just add a general part. You can add, let's add some labor. And you will just continue that process, pulling items from your price book onto the job form. Now we can update and edit these as needed. So I can click on this. I can change the name, the description, the quantity, pricing, and even income account where I want this to field map to in QuickBooks. And then I will hit update. And same goes for the other items that you have. Just underneath, you can add a custom line item if you want. So let's say that there's a random one-off item I know is not in my price book, and I just need to add it for this one job. I can click Add Custom Line Item, type the item name, and then it's going to first search your price book just to make sure you don't have that item. Maybe you'll see it here and be like, oh, I actually do have it. But if not, then you will select Create Custom Line Item as entered. Enter in the information and then hit Add. That has added it as a custom item. If you want to take any item that you've added from your price book and make it a recommended item, you can use the little drop down arrow here, move to recommendations, click on that, and that will move it to a recommendation section. So a good use case for this, let's say that for every maintenance that you do, you want to try to sell a filter exchange or filter replacement as well. You can add that as a recommendation. And so whatever recommended item you have, when you're showing it to the customer, it will show the items they're being charged for in the product section, and then the items that you are recommending for them in the recommendations. When they decide either yes or no that they want the recommendation, you will hit the thumbs up to add that now up to the product section. Or if they decline it, you can just say, I decline the above recommendations. That way you have a record that they did decline the product or service you were offering. We also have select a financing product. If you want to offer financing, you just click on select the financing product, select the option, the loan option you want to offer the customer, and hit save. That will add the application on here as a recommended item first. And then if the customer says, yep, 89.33 a month sounds good, let's do it, you will hit continue to apply to move on to the actual customer application. If you want to add a recommended or recommend a maintenance plan, click on maintenance plan, select the plan, hit save. And then if they say, yep, let's go ahead and sign me up for that, you'll choose sign up now. Any notes that you add here are customer facing. That can be a slogan, thanks for your business, or something's going on and you want to communicate that, you can put those in the notes here. Any equipment, so your price book items can be pieces of equipment or even full systems with multiple pieces of equipment. If I add an item from my price book that has equipment as part of it, it will automatically be added to the included equipment section. So right now I don't have an item with equipment in it, but if I did, it would show down here. And if you serialized the item in your price book, then you would be able to add the actual serial number of the piece of equipment that you're looking at right here. There will be an open field for that. Remember, we set up our warranties earlier. Down here, we've got contractor warranties and then a checklist. So this job happens to already have a checklist. So I can see what that checklist is from here by clicking on the name. You can even fill out the checklist and edit it as needed from here. Select who it was done by and hit save. And if this is just an internal checklist, then you want to keep attached to proposal off. But maybe this is something you want to use for your customer to actually see. You will attach to a proposal, and then your customer will get the proposal and the checklist as within the same document. Contract terms, so we set those up earlier. Here's that drop down. And then you can grab a signature from the customer here that can either be an e-signature or just a verbal they told you yes. And now we have some options at the bottom. So if we click present, that will go into a present mode. And this is usually used from the desktop side in the office. So maybe you're turning your screen around and going over something with your desktop in the office. All this is doing when we go to present mode is just putting it in a nice presentation mode. We are not editing from here. We are just using this to show the customer. Also, everything that we have talked about on the proposal is available on mobile as well. So presentation mode would go into a presentation mode just like this. From here, they can accept or decline. And you also, let's do this. Let's go back to build mode so we can see some of our other options. So I'm just clicking build right here. And you can also convert to invoice. So this is a proposal. So we are not taking a payment on this. You would need to convert it to an invoice to take payment. You can also send this to the customer. What's nice about that, if I click send, this is going to allow me to choose whether I want to send via text or email. I can preview what that email will look like. I can add any additional attachments before I send. And then when I send it to the customer, they are going to see it in a PDF format. So if you want to know what your customer is about to see, use that view PDF. And here it is. So this is our proposal. It's got all the different options that we've added to it. And then your customer, when they receive that message, they will be able to view and then either accept or decline. And depending on what action they take, what they decide, if whether they accept or deny, you will get an email letting you know that the proposal has been signed, and you will also see the status of that proposal updated in the job. So for this example, let's go ahead and send. And we'll send this to Justin via email. So this is our proposal. This is our estimate. This is the prediction of the work that we want to do. And now we can see here is that proposal we just sent or we just created. And if you will now we're ready to take payment. Let's say they accepted it. We went out, we did the job. You can come right back to the job here and select convert to invoice. What's nice about this, we do have a couple options. If you are ready to charge them for the entire amount, choose total proposed amount. If you want to charge them a percentage, maybe this is a really big project that's going to take 6 months and it's 4 different phases, you are able to do percentage total. So maybe I want this first invoice to be 25% of the original. And then you would be able to have the customer pay out. Now, normally these are on much larger projects, but you do have that option. And then the last option is manually by line item. You can manually select what you want them to pay for per line item. Today, we're going to do total proposed amount and convert to invoice. It's going to take everything from the proposal and now make it an invoice. So you might not even need to make any adjustments or changes to this at all. It came directly from the proposal. They agreed to everything, and we are ready to scroll to the bottom and take payment. If you do need to make edits, that is fine. This is now a unique invoice that is ready for any edits to be made. And then at the bottom, we have some options for payment. Pay Now is going to process through WEX FSM and send the money to your bank account. Record payment is if you are processing outside of WEX FSM. An example of that would be if you are taking a cash payment, then they give you the cash. You'll still need to take that to the bank for it to get into your account, but you want to record that that payment was made. And then send is the self-service option that will send an interactive invoice to the customer and they can make a payment online. And of course, delete. Maybe you made two of the same invoices on accident. You just want to get rid of one. You can select delete. For today's example, we will choose record payment. This will let you know if it has been signed or not. If not, that's okay. You can just bypass by hitting yes. Of course, it is recommended that you get signatures from your customers, but if for some reason you want to do that, it will not prevent you from moving forward. And now we are recording a payment. So we've got our invoice selected here. Payment method, let's say that they paid with a check today. And we will hit now record payment. And there we go. So just through this little scenario here, we created our proposal. We sent it to the customer. Let's say they did go ahead and sign it, so then it would show in your system as a signed proposal. Here, we did the work. Now convert to invoice. That was converted to, let me refresh. That was converted to invoice below. And then we took payment and we can see the payment down below here. And let me just check my notes real quick to make sure we covered everything on here before we move on. Yep, that's good. Yes. So let's say after you took payment, job's finished, but the customer says, "Hey, and I misplaced my receipt. Can you send me a receipt for that work?" You can just come to the job, scroll down, and you can quickly send by clicking the paper airplane icon. If it's a signed, completed, and paid for invoice, then that's what they'll get, essentially a receipt document, and you just hit send. Once you send a job form, it will show you the last time you sent it by hovering over the little timestamp icon right here. Okay, we're getting to the end. I have one more section we're going to go over, and that is some job form reporting. And then we'll dive into our Q&A. I usually like to give about 15 minutes to ask any questions that you may have. All right. So for reporting, now we've gone over, just to reiterate, you can go to the customer page. So I can just quickly go search for my customer. And if I want to create a proposal or invoice, right here, create new job form. And I can create those very easily from here. If I want to search through my proposals, I can click the drop down and pull up proposals only. I can also quickly search for invoices. And so that is a quick place from the customer page where you can create those job forms. You can also just go to a job. So click into the job. And then this is where you will see individually your proposals and invoices per job. If you want to view proposals and invoices in bulk, you will go to jobs, and we have an invoice list and a proposal list. And both of those are, just as it says, a big list of all your invoices in your system and a big list of all of your proposals in your system. So you can search for proposals and invoices on their respective pages here. And then you can also go to the reporting page. So we're just going to click on reporting. And there's a couple reports that I recommend. We're going to click on original. And there's three main reports we're going to look at, which is the proposals report. Yep. So under jobs, right here, proposals. And then we also want receivables, which is in the accounting section. So we're going to open up receivables. And then the job summary report, which is right here in the jobs section. So the first one is going to be proposals. That is the proposals report. So this shows you all of your proposals in your system by date range. If you want to look for all proposals that were declined last month, maybe you want to, reach back out to those customers. You can search by job type and by technician. Let's look at all proposals that Levi did last week. Good way to just isolate and look at your proposals from this page. You can also see your close rate, sales opportunities, and opportunities won from the filter at the top here. The next page we're going to go to is receivables. Again, that is from the reporting page. Receivables right here under accounting. This is your best friend if you are trying to see who owes you money. So you will see your invoices in this section. So as you create invoices in your system, they will show up here. And this is just one way that you can track and manage those invoices. And my favorite thing about this report is you can select all and send reminders. So a good use case for this, I would set the payment status to overdue. That means now it's just showing me people who are past their due date. And then you can hit select all and send. And that will send a payment reminder out to those customers. And then the last one we're going to look at is a place where you can see proposal and invoice information together. That is the job summary report. As a quick reminder, go to reporting, job summary. And that is the job summary report is really a good place just to see the overall health of each job that you're doing. You can search by date range, job type, customer name, location, job number, etc. But from here, I can see were any proposals signed? And if they were signed, did we do the work and did we make an invoice? So this is a good checks and balances page. You can see, are any signed proposals included in that job? And are there invoices? And maybe you will see a proposal was made, but we didn't convert it to an invoice. What happened there? And now I can just click into the job and investigate. All right. So that is all the information we have for today's presentation. We're going to jump into our Q&A now. But thanks so much for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Creating Professional Invoices and Proposals.